Hey, this is definitely not a New Year's resolution type episode, but it is. But you have to listen because you could use this any time of the year, but I don't want you to do a New Year's resolution. I really don't. Because I used to call it the antidote, but this is a way to find and have pleasure in doing the things that you want to do instead of having the pain of giving it all bloody up. Anyway, have a listen after this. Hey, this is the Personal Development Unplugged podcast, where we use hypnosis. Yeah, hypnosis. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Don't worry what it is. It's just a mass of processes that we're going to get you to change. Change to let go of anxiety, low self-esteem, and create massive supreme inner confidence. But that's confidence in your competence and competence in your confidence, which means you can do anything and be safe, to enjoy the world as it should be, with you at the helm, creating the life that you want. That's what this podcast is about. You and being the best you could be, singing from your real voice, aligned with your mission, aligned with your passions. That's what it's about. So if you're interested in letting go of anxiety, if you're interested in letting go of fear, guilt, all those blooming syndromes, imposter syndromes, and every little bit of the mind which is negative, then have a listen here, because we've got some wonderful processes and lots of good conversations between you and me to get us both thinking in such wonderful ways. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Just take the chance to have a listen.
Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey friend, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I hope this year, 2023, is going to be so much better than 2022 and every other year you've ever had in your life. And, as usual, at this time of New Year, at this time, we have the annual, not a New Year's resolution episode, because I don't like New Year's resolutions. And I'm going to tell you now, this is going to be painful. It really is going to be painful. Well, at first. Then we get some pleasure. Big pleasure. You see, I get it. I get this thing where people go into New Year's resolutions because it's a new year. It's a new time. We've got things going to happen. We've got all this wonderful energy and we get all the people pushing, it's a new year. It's a new you. And that's bullshit. In my mind, that's bullshit. You see, you don't want a new you. You want the real you. And you see, this year will be different, won't it? Because, and then we're going back to the thoughts of a new you and old you and all that stuff, but this is a new year and this year will be different. And that's our mentality for New Year's resolutions. This year will be different. Forget the others. Forget the other resolutions that I didn't do last year, the year before and the year before. This year will be different. See, in this year, I really will use my gym subscription. I will diet. I will drink less. I will. It's all BS, isn't it? And it's all plain. It's all pain. Pain. No pleasure. Because there's no follow through. Because if you think about that, it's all hard work. I'm going to lose weight. Oh, that seems painful. I'm going to start dieting. I'm going to have to go to exercises. I'm going to drink less. I'm going to have to give up. And it's all pain. And I can sell you pain. Well, I'm doing a good job now, I hope. Because I want you to feel the pain. Just for a moment. You see, you get pain in two ways. You see, if you stay as you are now, or get worse, how will that feel? Bloody hell, Cluffy, that's not good, is it? Thinking, because I want to change, I need to change. I've got to lose weight, I've got to stop drinking, I've got to, do do this thing about going to the gym, run 10,000 miles a day and all that stuff. That's painful thinking that if I stay as I am now, or even get worse, that will feel horrible, won't it? So the solution, the pain of thinking what you have to do to get around the pain, of that thing I've just been talking about staying as you are now. So now I'm thinking about the pain of thinking about what I have to do to get around the pain of staying the way I am, because I don't want to. So now it's painful both ways, isn't it? So that's selling you pain. So it's all about New Year's resolutions. Having to change. Give up stuff. And the thing is, when you fail at these resolutions, these New Year's resolutions, like going to the gym, spending more money on drinks, doing the diet, having it fail, all that stuff, there's even more pain. So it's 3 times of the pain. So it's not only avoiding it, staying there, but then giving up. Pain, pain, bloody pain. Now you might say, hey Cluffy, word in your ear. What a way to start an episode. Especially the first episode of 2023, the first episode of the year. Well, I think this year I've probably sold the pain as hard as I've ever sold it. You see, but it's true. I think it's true anyway, because I don't think the people who sell you these New Year's resolutions and the programs, they're not interested in you per se. They just want you to forget about the pain for a moment. They just want you to sign up. So many people know about people going to the gym. They all sign up in January. By March, well, the subscriptions keeps getting paid, but you don't turn up to the gym. Why would they worry? Do you ever get a call saying, hey, I haven't seen you for a few weeks. Is there a problem? Come to the gym. Goes quiet. The old tumbleweed goes past, doesn't it? No one checks up on you. We're here. I'm here to check up on you. But you can say then, okay, Cluffy. And I know you are. You're saying, okay, Cluffy, you've given me all this bloody pain. You're telling me that people don't really, those people who are advertising all this stuff and selling you all these new things, all the new gadgets. You can look on the TV and everything else, all these new gadgets, all this new stuff. And it's also on Instagram and everywhere else and at Facebook. You're bombarded with the noise of selling you short-term pleasure. But they forget it's giving up and it's pain. And you see, I'm going to go into the pleasure. And we're going to start to move towards pleasure now. So I just want you to, if that resonates with you, by the way, now we know where we are. And I don't want you to go through all that again, year in, year out. I want you to do something differently. So let's think. You see, this is sort of it's not a pleasure at all, this one. You see, we, you, me, I, them, everybody, I believe, we're just not clever enough to know what we specifically want. Oh, I am. I know exactly what I want. I want it to lose. No, I just don't believe we are. Not specifically. Because to begin with, I think we miss out on so much. Because you might be saying, bloody hell, Cluffy, there's still no pleasure in this. But imagine this as a metaphor. We have a radar. You've seen it on those films in the submarines and things like that. You have a little radar and the little line goes around and goes beep, beep. And it's measuring and it's noticing the things within that circle. But that circle is just a small diameter, small radius, small circumference, small area of what is possible. It misses out. If you saw that in the middle, it misses out every bloody thing outside it. And I think that's what we do sometimes when we look for New Year's resolutions and things to change. We just look inside that little circle, what we can think of. And that's why I don't think we're clever enough to know, but we are clever enough to know something different. So it's not the specific thing that's going to give us what we want. That's why I don't think we're clever enough, but I think we know what we want. Did that make sense? Because I don't think it did, but it does. Because the question is, so how do we get to find out? What would be the best for us? You see, that's a great question, isn't it? What's best for me? Me specifically. What would make me, when I get it, so truly grateful for the life of joy, the life of love, the life of peace, contentment, freedom, anything. You name it. You go as big as you want. The real you, not the old you, not the new you, the real you. Being able to do all the things that the real you would love and ultimately feel content, at peace, joy, fun, full of love. Because the one thing I really do believe, you're entitled to that. And me as well. We're all entitled to have that, but we need to do a little bit of work. It's not just going to get dumped on us. Imagine being dumped with a load of joy. It'd be gorgeous, wouldn't it? But it's going to be like that. Because inside that little circle of that radar, is a little bit of joy and things like that, which we may be able to consciously be aware of the things that might give us that. But I think it's short-term, and it's sometimes like giving up and things like that. But outside of that, it's like the multiverse universe, every other thing that's going on that we're not aware of is the stuff that brings us to life, brings us a life of joy, peace, contentment, freedom, all the things that we're entitled to do. So the question is, well, how do I find that? Wow, it's not as difficult as you think. In fact, it's pretty simple. And in simplicity, there's genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
So, thank you for that. Let's do this first bit together then. Now, remember, I'm a therapist, not your therapist and all that stuff, but this is only imagination. And a little bit of visualization. And please don't say you don't visualize, because I know that you do. Everyone does. It's only when you try to do it, sometimes we don't do it as well as we expect. So don't expect to visualize 20/20 vision. You can go from, well, it's out there somewhere. Can't quite see it, but I know it's out there somewhere, to 20/20. Anywhere in between. I'm just aware that what I could be visualizing is out there. Just pretend that you're visualizing if you really want to, because that's all you have to do. So find a little space. Find some time. And I want you to do it now if you can. You might be driving, so that's a no-no. Because obviously I want you to really concentrate on what you're doing. So I don't want you to do anything that needs your attention, okay? Because this is important. This could set up, not just this year, could set up a start of a process for the rest of your life. Big as that, Cluffy? Well, it could be, but it's so simple. Such a simple step. So you can listen to this a little bit if you're driving and things to get an idea of the process. But I want you to bookmark the time. Just notice the time we're through and then come back to it. But if you're okay, if you could just quickly pause and find that place, not pause yet, not until I've finished explaining. Just find a place where you could be quiet, undisturbed, just for a moment or two, because it doesn't going to take too long, I promise. So find that space. And what I want you to do, because I'll explain it a little bit more. We're going to use anchoring. Anchoring. NLP uses anchoring all the time. I love anchoring. Stimulus and response. Remember Pavlov's dogs and simple things like you hear some music and you get sad, or you get happy, or you get romantic. That's an auditory anchor, because the stimulus is the music, the response is the emotion you get. And it could be a touch. It could be a touch to get the feeling. It could be a word that you hear to get the feeling. That's an auditory anchor. One's a kinesthetic anchor. They're the two we're going to use. If you remember, with Tom, that was the one just on Christmas Eve, he had a visual anchor. When he saw orange, he would go into that piece, yeah? So you could do the same type of thing, but we'll see how it goes. But I want you to use probably a touch and a word. We're going to put two together. So imagine touching your knuckle or squeezing, maybe just squeezing your one little finger with the thumb. So get them ready. Don't squeeze them yet. Get them ready, because we're going to squeeze them when we feel the real feeling. Okay. So now you've got little finger, your little pinky, and your thumb ready. And we're going to use a word, but that word will come to you in a moment. So now we've got that. We've got the setting, okay? We're going to be quiet. We're just going to be comfortable. So set your intention. Yeah, I'm going to be comfortable and learn. I'm curious to learn what Cluffy's going to tell me, because I know it's going to be good. And when you get that, maybe just close your eyes. And as you close your eyes and you breathe gently, just let it all go for a moment, because we're just going to get comfortable for a moment. And as we do that, I want you to imagine there's a you just out there in front of you. And that you out there is living that life of joy, a life full of joy, a life full of total freedom, a life that you over there is at peace with the world and peace with itself. That you over there that's loving themselves, and then because of that allowing themselves to love others, doing everything that you could imagine that you out there would do with joy, freedom, peace, love. And just notice that. Notice how they walk, how you over there walk. Maybe you can hear that you over there talk. Notice how their voice resonates, the joy, the freedom, the peace, the love. Notice how you're just looking at them, looking at their face, looking at the deep into their eyes, how you can feel and sense that joy, that freedom, that peace, that love, and everything else, anything else you want to add to it. Add to it. Because this isn't the old you. This is the real you. That's right, the real you. So see yourself over there, enjoying everything. Now, when you do that, I want you now to imagine being able to float out of your body and into that you out there, the you out there that's having the joy, the freedom, the peace, the love from themselves, love for everyone, to making a difference in the world, and float inside their body. See what they see now through your eyes, their eyes. Feel what they feel. Hear what they hear. Hear the inner voice of joy, freedom, peace, love for themselves, love for others, making a difference. But really feel that feeling now. And as you feel that feeling, just imagine the colour of that feeling. What colour is this feeling of peace and joy and freedom and love? Does it have a temperature? Does it have a weight? Does it spin? Which way does it spin? So you could spin it a little bit faster. Maybe it crackles up and down your spine and gives you those little shivers. Oh, this is gorgeous. And feel that feeling, just the feeling now. Feel it so intensely. And as it intensifies, in fact, double it. Double that feeling and squeeze that little finger and thumb together now. And as you squeeze it, have a word come to mind that really expresses everything about this feeling. It'll come to you right now, and say it inside, loudly. Say it outside if there's no one around. And then let that finger go. Just let them open a little bit. And then double the feeling again while you're here. Double it and let it go through every cell of your body. And as you're feeling it, squeeze that finger and thumb together and say that word again. So passionately. And then you let it go. And then just add passion, as we just said. Add passion and curiosity and learning. However that does it. Allow all those colours to be a rainbow of this wonderful feeling, and then double the intensity of that feeling. Squeeze that little finger and thumb together. Say that word again. And say these immortal words while you're squeezing that little finger, that little pinky and thumb together. This or something better. This or something better. And say that word again. And then let's let go of that anchor. And then float back into your body. And as you float back into your body, you're back where you are. Keeping your eyes closed though. Have that other you out there walk back into you. So you are now aligned. Allow the integration to just be so good, because now you have all the learnings as well. And now we know where we're headed. So just open your eyes now. Open your eyes, come back to me, and go, hallelujah, Cluffy, or something like that. I don't know where that came from. Really don't know where it came from. But this is where we're headed, you see. That's how we specifically want to be, and we can add to it. You can come back to this and add it and add and add more wonderful emotions to make them so vivid, so wonderful. Squeeze a little pinky and thumb together, say that same word. Because all you're doing then is stacking the anchor. But this is what we're headed, because does it matter? Does it matter what we do, provided we've got that feeling? Because it'd be a wonderful feeling. It would be ecological, because it's good for you, because it's good for the people around you, and good for little old planet Earth. And here's what I want you to do. Now, that's not the process, by the way. That's part of the process. We've now got where we're headed. Because if we get that feeling in life, things that give us that feeling, give us that wonderful everything, well, there'd be the opportunities and things we do. We would lose weight anyway. We would stop drinking. We would eat healthily. Because we wouldn't lose, we'd eat healthily. We'd be healthy. We'd find things to do that we enjoy to make ourselves healthy. We would read, we would learn, or whatever. We'd listen to good old unplugged podcasts. Okay, so now we know where we're headed. That feeling, by the way, is where we're headed. And now what I want to do is we want to ask ourselves a question. And this is where you need a paper and pen. Oh, Cluffy, not again yet. Paper and pen, because don't let this go. You'd write out a bloody New Year's resolution, wouldn't you? So we're going to write this down. And you write this question down. What one thing, when achieved, would make the most progress towards this feeling? And then just in brackets say that, and just write the word down, that power word that goes with that feeling. Okay? So that's a question. And the other question underneath that is, and why is that important to me? What will it allow me to do? So you've got two questions. So here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Set your intention. I'm going to find these new ways. Squeeze your little finger and thumb together. Say that word. So we're firing off the anchor, the touch and the auditory word. Fire it all off and then read that question. What one thing, when achieved, would make the most progress to this feeling? I wonder what it is. And just allow whatever comes to mind and pop it on that paper. Unedited. Just allow your thoughts to come to mind. Let your unconscious mind bubble this up. And as you look at those, you can say, why is this important to me? Why is that important to me? Because we want to be moving towards what we want. And you'll find the intuition gets so wonderful. And the thing is, you go, well, okay, I've got that one. But then you go, I want you to do that 3 times. At least 3 times. Or at least another 2 times on this one. So you finish all your writing. Same page, if you want it on the same page, you then go, okay, here we go again. Squeeze a little pinky and thumb together. Say that power word, as it were. And then, what one other thing, when achieved, would make the most progress to this feeling? And notice what comes to mind. It could be in a different context, you see. So I even ask, in a different context, what one thing, when achieved, would make the most progress towards having this feeling? Write down whatever comes to mind. And then just squeeze that finger and thumb together and say, and why is that important to me? And then do it another time. One more time. So you might need a fresh piece of paper or do a different piece of paper each time, because we're going to sit and look at them all in a minute. And then you go, okay, I'm curious. I wonder if there's another one. Fire, put that little pinky and thumb together. Say that word that goes with it. Feel the feeling, because that's what we do. We feel that feeling and then say, what one other thing, when achieved, would make the most progress towards this feeling? Write whatever comes to mind, unedited. And why is this important to me? Write the reasons why it's important to me. It would allow me to do this. It would allow me to feel that. It would allow me to make a difference. Whatever it is. And notice they're in different contexts, because that'd be great. Now, we've done all that. Now we can say to ourselves, okay, you see, we've got all the information now, and you're going to ask another question. Guess what? We're going to fire that anchor off it again in a minute. Because the question will be, I'll explain it to what it is. The first question, and you're going to repeat it 3 times. What's the smallest step I can take that keeps this feeling and would move us towards, and you're going to put down one of those, the most important thing that when achieved would make the most progress. Because although that's when it's achieved, we need baby small steps to get there. Because when we do big steps, we lose that feeling. And this is a feeling of the wish fulfilled, because the wish fulfilled is having all that wonderful stuff. So get ready. Piece of paper again, because if you just think about, because we're going to ask this question 3 times. And if you think of one and try to remember it, and then you ask the question again, you get another one, that first one tends to drop out your ears. You can imagine, drop it out your ears, you lost it. So write it down. So this is what we're going to do. Get curious. Just think of curiosity. Squeeze that pinky and thumb together. Say that power word. And then ask, what's the smallest step I could take that keeps this feeling and moves me towards and the answer of number 1? You look at that answer number 1 and you find the smallest step. And when you write that down, you might even ask, holding that anchor, is there something smaller I could do? Because sometimes we jump too big. Let's do small steps. We get bigger steps as we go along. When you've written that down, you do it again. You look at your second answer and you go, okay, fire the anchor. What's the smallest step I could take to keep this feeling? And that would move us towards the answer of number 2. Write it down. And guess what? We're going to do it a third time. Third times are always good. Look at your third answer. Get curious. Finger and thumb together, little finger and thumb together. Fire the anchor, say the word. And read, what's the smallest step I could take that keeps this feeling and would move us towards and the answer? And you write them down. And just think, is there a smaller step? Because if I can do the smallest step and keep that feeling, I know I'm going to feel good all the time. And then what you do between that, we've got 3 things. Look at the one that really jumps out at you, that will make the most difference. Because it might be the third one. You never know. But the one that jumps out, and schedule that bloody action now. Because it's only a small step. And then you might want to say, well, that's such a small step, I can do a little bit to the second one or the third one. But take your time. And you see, you might say to yourself, okay, I've done the first step, Paul. I'm scheduling that because this is Sunday and I'm going to do it Monday. And then I've got a bit of a gap. What am I going to do now? As you do that first step, and I always think just before you do the first step and you actually do that thing, you've scheduled it for Monday, fire off that anchor just before you do it. Say that word, fire off the anchor, little pinky, thumb together, because you get that feeling and it'll help you go through. And as you finish that, you just say to yourself, I wonder what the next smaller step would be to keep this feeling. And you just keep doing it, bit by bit. I'm going to do some more on this. But let's just get these small steps moving. And you see, each one, you keep repeating that question to add on to what you've just done. And you schedule it. And then at the end of the week, you look back at what you've done just to get that feeling of gratitude. I actually did this. And guess what? Because you fired that anchor off and because you were doing the smallest thing that would keep the feeling, and it's that feeling of joy, peace, love, and you're actually getting it right now as well. And that's the thing. There's the pleasure. Because if nothing else worked, maybe, as I always say to people, if this didn't work, and it does, by the way, but if it didn't work, but you were squeezing that little finger and thumb together 2 or 3 times a day, you would feel absolutely awesome for 2 or 3 times a day. And your unconscious mind would get it, by the way, would get it, go, okay, I get it now. This is the direction we go, but we're not going to stop squeezing that little finger and thumb together every time we do this. Ask the question, every time we review, every time we schedule, every time we do the things that we've scheduled. And you might even think, bloody scheduling, Cluffy, all this writing down, putting it in a diary. Oh, yeah, you put it in a diary, you commit. Thing is, it's going to get second nature. Squeezing a little finger and thumb together and saying that word doesn't take more than 2 seconds, does it? But it gets you on your way. It'll be awesome. The only thing I'd say is do it. There's nothing to lose. Just do it and notice the difference after a week of doing it. Let me know. Let me know what you've achieved. Let me know the feelings you have. Let me know your thoughts, your goals, your dreams and wishes that are going to come true. Feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. I'd love you to share it with me, and I'd love to be able to share them with other people so they know this works. If you would, that would be awesome. Let's share what we do because it encourages other people. It's a celebration. And that celebration will inspire others. That celebration will inspire you. And when you do that review and you You'll notice that you have in some way shared it anyway by your actions, because people will see you doing it. People will get it. And they also get to be around you when you're doing this stuff and feeling that bloody joy, that freedom, that peace, that loving yourself and loving other people. They'll all get it because we're all connected, but they'll be with you. Now that's a New Year's resolution. Yeah. I'm going to do more. I will do more. I might even try to record what we've just done in the process and maybe put that up on the hypnosis tracks. Where'd you get them? If you're new to that, it's Personal Development Unplugged. No, it isn't at all. Scrub that. It's paulcloughonline.com/podcast. And you'll find 55 and maybe plus hypnosis and NLP processes. But I'll see if I can do this one. There's certainly one on anchoring, but you've got it in here as well. But if I can do both, maybe I'll just spend a bit of time doing it. It just takes a bit of time. And it's all free, so I've got to keep putting my time into it. But I don't mind. But it just takes, I've got things to do and I'll do my best. I just need a bit of encouragement. So if this is the type of things you'd like, send me that email, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com, saying, hey, Cluffy, I love what you're doing. Can you do a bit more? Give me some feedback on what you would like as a process, because that would be awesome. That's a little mini call to action because it comes in with this. But what I'd really like you to do as well, not only just obviously do this and share it. If you just share this episode to everyone you know, because they'll get it and it'll make a difference to them. And just imagine what would you do if someone said to you, would you like to know how to feel bloody awesome? And then have that awesomeness spread through the rest of your life. I'd be really chuffed, wouldn't you? So be that chuff maker. I don't know where that come from. Be that chuff maker and share this episode with everyone you know. Spread the chuff. Share the chuff. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. Happy New Year again. And if you listen to this after the New Year, because here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. This is just not for New Year. This is any time you want it. Whenever you want a bit of a boost, because you might want to find more specific things to do. So you can just come back here and do it whenever you want. Because this is 365 days of the year and another one for leap years and all that stuff. 12 months, 4 seasons, 52 weeks, all that stuff. Any time in there you could do this and revise it. And I do suggest that you do. Maybe every quarter you just revise it, because it's new stuff will keep coming, new opportunities to spur you on. And it's good to just take note and take time out to find them. And this is a way of finding them. Anyway, have more fun than you can stand and make a difference, because it could be just the difference that makes a difference. Now it's time to fly. Fly, my friends. Bye-bye.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.